Hey guys, Steve from the TechBuzz Gaming, and today I want to talk to you about 5 games that I think if you're going to start collecting for the NES, these are games that you need to pick up. I'm going to show you it right after this. Okay, a lot of times people jump in, they've come over to my house and they said, you know, how do you know what games to go for? Do you just buy games off the whim and pick up games that, because I'm collecting for the complete North American collection, do you just buy the games and just throw them on your shelf? And my answer to that is sometimes yes, but most of the time no, because I want to enjoy some of the games that I never seen or never had growing up. And so that's why I thought, man, you know what, I'm going to put this video together and show you guys the different games that I would pick up if I was going to start collecting today. Some of them are based off of the games that I played as a kid, but also some of them are based off of the fun factor, and some of them people don't even really talk about. And I'm not talking about your Castlevanias, your Mario Brothers, your Double Dragons. I mean, that's a go-to, right? That's easy to say, you know, like, yeah, we're definitely gonna, you know, those are must-haves, but they're also expensive if you haven't looked. So the first one on my list I'm going to talk about today is this game right here, Chrysalis. This was one of my brother and I's favorite game growing up. If you are a fan of Zelda, this is a game you want to pick up for first and foremost if you're collecting for the NES, or if you just want to buy a few games for the NES and try and play. And you can see this is one that had a battery. If you remember back in the day, Nintendo started putting batteries in the Zelda game. And this one had a battery. So what is Chrysalis all about? Well, it's a 1990 action RPG developed by SNK for the Nintendo Entertainment System. It features a post-apocalyptic setting where the player awakens from a cryptogenic sleep. And you must go and collect 4 elemental swords to defeat the villain Emperor Dragon and save the world. The game is known for its blend of science fiction and fantasy elements, real-time combat, and a memorable soundtrack. So this is also played down from a top-down perspective, with the player character moving in 8 directions, just like The Legend of Zelda. Combat involves using a sword for charged attacks with elemental powers and items or magic from the inventory. Players can equip armor, shields for defense. Experience points are earned by defeating enemies, increasing the player's level and stats. The game features a variety of enemies, including bosses with unique names and attack patterns. Magic and teleportation spells are available to aid the player. So if I were you guys and you were trying to get into this, this is a game I'd pick up. I do have this complete in box. Well, I'm just showing you the game because I have it on my shelf. But I do have the box out there. This was a favorite of ours. We love the Zelda type games. This is one that I would pick up, and it's rather inexpensive, so you can get it. I believe they go for about 20 to 30 bucks. So you can pick this up loose and have this in your NES game collection. Look at my wall of games here. Yes, pretty easy. I remember getting this game for Christmas. My gram got this for me. This was Little Nemo the Dream Master. Little Nemo the Dream Master, again, a very inexpensive game, but it's a very cool game to play, and I think this is something that you'd have a lot of fun with, especially if you're into platformers. This is a game to check out. What's it about? Well, Little Nemo the Dream Master is a 1990 platform video game for the Nintendo Entertainment System, and it was developed by Capcom. It is based on the animated film Little Nemo: Adventures in Slumberland, which itself is based on the comic strip Little Nemo in Slumberland. Now, the game features Nemo as the protagonist, who must traverse through various levels collecting keys to unlock doors and rescue Morpheus, the King of Slumberland, from the Nightmare King. If you're into games like Mega Man, this is another Capcom special. This is something you need to check out. Now let's talk about a little bit about the gameplay. Platforming. The game is a side-scrolling platformer where players control Nemo as he navigates through levels, jumping and interacting with the environment. Animal abilities. A unique mechanic involves Nemo feeding candy to an animal to make them fall asleep, allowing him to enter their bodies and utilize special abilities. Let's talk about the keys. Key collection. Players must find and collect specific number of keys in each level to progress to the next. How difficult is this? Well, the game is known for its challenging difficulty with many obstacles and enemies to overcome. Animal abilities. Different animals offer unique abilities such as the frog's high jump, the mole's digging, and the bee's flight to help you proceed to other areas in the game to help you advance for your progress. Okay, so Little Nemo, the Dream Master, this is a great game from Capcom. This is a game, if you're in the market for, you never had an NES growing up as a kid, or you only had very select few games like Super Mario Brothers and maybe a few of the other ones, this is a game you want to pick up. Get it, it's very inexpensive, and you can play it, and you'll get hours and hours of fun out of it. I had a lot of fun with this, and this to me is a staple in the collection that you need to get. All right, let's talk about number 3 in the top 5 that I think you should get when collecting for the NES. The first 5 I think you should get, especially with convention season. You should be able to find these pretty easy. Let's take a look right here. Avdox. Avdox is a great game. If you are a shmups fan, Avdox is a great game. I have TurboGrafx 16 because I love shmups. If you are into shmups, if you don't know what shmups are, well, they're shoot 'em ups. So shoot 'em ups for short is shmups. So this game here is one I highly recommend you picking up. All right, so if you're sitting there saying, okay, Steve, that's pretty awesome, but what's it about? Well, Avdox: The Deadly Inner War is a side-scrolling shooter for the NES, released in 1990 by Milton Bradley in North America. The game is known for its unique setting inside the body of a giant alien creature called Chrysalis, and its high difficulty. Players take the role of a second lieutenant Nasal, tasked with venturing into Chrysalis to rescue Princess Maria and save the planet Avdox. Now, some of the key features in the game are, well, it's a unique setting. I mean, how often do you get to go into, the inside of a giant alien creature and, kind of blast things and shoot things? And, you get to go into certain areas like the throat, the nerves, the intestines, and the stomach. Now, it's also a side-scroller shooter. Players navigate through the levels, shooting enemies and bosses while avoiding obstacles. Power-ups. Players can collect various power-ups like any other shmups, including speed boosts, barriers, and different weapon types. Now, the cool part about this is, you all remember back in the day, we didn't have, saving to the cloud and all this other stuff. There are checkpoints. The game features checkpoints within each level, but players lose all power-ups upon death and restart from that checkpoint. How difficult is this game? Well, Avdox is known for its challenging gameplay requiring memorization of enemy patterns and precise movements. And the theme behind it, well, it is kind of horror themed. The game incorporates body horror elements with grotesque visuals and enemies. And it's dual scrolling. The game features both horizontal, vertical scrolling, and different sections as well. So if you're into shmups and you like what I just told you and you like what you just saw, go pick up Avdox. It's not an expensive game. Again, you're looking at me, probably about $20. I haven't looked at price charting recently, but you'll see. I'm going to tell you right here for all these games, so you'll know. So it's not just me guesstimating. But like I said, when I picked this up, I want to say it was like $12. It was really not an expensive game. Again, I'm trying to focus on games that are really, really good that I think, and also games that I think you'll have fun with if you've never played them. Let's take a look at another one. And I'm sorry if you guys disagree with this, but now this is more of a spendy game, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, but there's actually 2 versions. There's Punch-Out when they lost the license, Nintendo lost the license with Mike Tyson later on in the years. You can get that one that's cheaper, but if you want the original Mike Tyson one, you might have to spend, $40, $50 to get this game. If you want to complete in box, well, now you're talking probably $250. But this game here is absolutely fun. Even if you're not into boxing in any shape or form, this is a game that you definitely want to pick up. Now you guys are going to be looking at some gameplay here. Now Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!, originally titled Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!, or in the arcades it was called Punch-Out!, is a 1987 boxing game developed and published by Nintendo for the NES. It is part of Punch-Out! Series and is an adaptation of the arcade game Punch-Out! And Super Punch-Out!. The game features Little Mac, a young boxer from the Bronx, as he climbs the ranks to challenge Mike Tyson in a dream fight. Now, what are some of the key features in this game? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm going to tell you as you're watching this. Some of the key features is celebrity endorsement. Now, Punch-Out! Is notable for being Nintendo's first celebrity endorsed game featuring the undefeated heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Tyson. Now, the gameplay. The game is boxing simulation where players control Little Mac, dodging and countering opponents' attacks while trying to land their own punches. Now, the different opponents, this is where it kind of gets fun. Players face a variety of opponents, each with unique fighting styles and weaknesses, culminating in the final match against Mike Tyson. Now, one of my favorites growing up was Super Macho Man and King Hippo, and you'll kind of know what I'm talking about when you play the game. Now, there are two versions, as I mentioned earlier in this video. The game was released in two versions, the original Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!, which I just showed you, and a latter edition version where Tyson was replaced with a fictional character, Mr. Dream, after the licensing deal expired. So if you're a collector like me, you're going to have both, and that's one I still need to get. Now, the critical acclaim Punch-Out! Is widely considered one of the greatest video games of all time. So Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!, there you have it. Whether you play this one or you play the one after the licensing was lost and you play against Mr. Dream, both of them are a great version. But if you can't afford it, get the other one. But if you can afford it, pick up Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!. You won't be sorry. Great game, great first one to have. You'll be playing it for hours. And they'll give you key codes and stuff so if you die, you can start right at that person again, so you don't have to traverse through all of the opponents all over again. So, and there's some cheat codes on the internet. Finally, last but certainly not least, I could have probably did a top 10 or a top 20, but we're only doing a top 5 just because, you know, for sake of time, you don't want to be here all day. The last and final one is, yes, Bubble Bobble. Bubble Bobble has been an all-time favorite of mine. There was a Bubble Bobble 2 that came out later on. It was in a later release. It is hard to find. It is actually kind of valuable. But Bubble Bobble is a game, especially if you have a sibling or if you have your wife or your spouse or whoever to play with you. This is a great game that you could play together and have a great time. So Steve talked to us about Bubble Bobble. Well, Bubble Bobble is a classic arcade game developed and published by Taito in 1986. Players control two bubble dragons, Bub and Bob, who must rescue their girlfriends from the cave of monsters by trapping enemies in bubbles and popping them. The game features 100 levels, power-ups, and hidden features, and is known for its simple yet engaging gameplay. Players navigate through 100 levels, trapping enemies in bubbles and popping them to defeat them to collect points. Bub and Bob are two playable characters, each with the ability to blow bubbles and trap enemies. Various power-ups can be collected to enhance abilities such as increased speed, longer reach, or the ability to shoot fireballs. Hey, can't go wrong with fireballs. Now, there are some hidden features in the game. The game includes hidden features and secrets that can be discovered throughout the levels. But the best part about it is something that my brother and I used to do, and because you can't save it, they do give you passwords. We used to turn the TV off when we had to go to school. But the co-op option. Bubble Bobble is one of the one or two player co-op game, allowing players to work together to progress through the levels, which is really, really cool. And it gives you the ability to help each other, especially when times get tough. So, Bubble Bobble, there you have it. This is, again, another inexpensive game, but it's a fun game that you can play on the NES. And a lot of these places out there, you can go flea markets, you can go to yard sales. You're probably going to find Bubble Bobble there and pick it up. Again, real fun. A lot, you'll get going. Sometimes the levels get monotonous, but that's where you just write the code down that they give you and you put it aside, go play one of the other games I recommended, and then come back to it. But it's the most fun when you can play two-player co-op. So that would be my suggestion for you. All right, guys, there you have it. I really appreciate it. We are closing the gap. We are closing the gap on 10,000 subscribers. And if you haven't already, you need to click the subscribe button. You need to like this video. You need to share it out with your friends as we go towards 10,000. My goal right now is, a lot of you guys have been coming on board. You've been subscribing to my videos. You've been liking my shorts and subscribing based off of that. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It makes all this hard work worth it. So I'm gonna ask you, if you haven't subscribed and you're watching this video, please subscribe. I wanna hit 10,000 before the end of this year. And I can't do it without you. And so I wanna put that out there. Also, make sure you check out any of the conventions. I will be at the Cleveland Gaming Classic at the end of September, Pittsburgh Gaming Expo at the beginning of October, and the beginning of September, I will be out in Columbus, Ohio for the GDEX Korgs convention. So if you want to come out and meet me, say hi, and whatever, I'll be there broadcasting live like I always do. Which reminds me, if you don't tune in on Wednesday nights for the Game Masters, you need to do so. Brandy Amer, Gamer Amer, and myself, we are out there having a blast. A lot of people have been liking the podcast, and I know you will too. So make sure you go and check it out. Now, I've blabbed on enough. I'm going to go play some games. So until next time, keep it buzzing. I'll see you later. Have a good weekend.